shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares through. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home is just you and me. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. Oh you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. Oh you meant the world to me. Oh you meant the world to me. Oh I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me, hold your hand while the pain was over, keep you warm by the roaring sea, oh you meant the world to me. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were.
Alright, what's good, Insane Gamers? As always, it's your boy Yo Soy, AC Weezy, joined with the one and only, the man, goddamn, T Hayes. What's going on, brother?
Not much, just self-distancing, just like everybody else in this quarantine, so enjoying my nice day inside on a 90-degree weather day.
Yeah, right. I mean, I feel you. I went for a little jog, but obviously, as the viewers at home can tell, I am checking in from a remote location, and shit, I mean, it's just like you said, everyone else practicing a little self-distancing, doing a little 6 feet maximum. Tyler, I think we're probably about, I'm not even going to try to do the math on that.
1,400 miles away.
I was about to try to do the fucking math on the miles versus feet, but that's way over my head. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on. I mean, technically the NFL free agency started today, am I right?
Yeah, a lot of moves went on. Actually, I think I just read somewhere your boy from the Packers, Brian Beluga. No longer a Packer.
But I'll forgive you.
Beluga. Beluga whale.
Beluga whale, we'll go with that. Got the whale songs going on. Little inside joke if you saw my Smarter Than a Fifth Grader stream. But anyways, yeah, where'd he go? He went somewhere on the West Coast, right?
Actually, I don't know. I just saw that it was posted. Thank you, Brian. Let me pull it up real quick. But obviously, that's not the biggest news. The biggest news. Oh yeah, he went to the Chargers. Chargers are gonna be nasty this year.
We'll see what they get at QB first, but yeah, they have some potential. They got some offensive firepower.
I mean, I have a guess, and it might be a guy by the name of Killer Cam.
Ooh, okay, I'm intrigued. Keep going.
It's the only fit that makes sense. We all thought Brady was going there. Brady obviously coming to your boy, your man, goddamn's neck of the woods.
Don't say we all thought. I said I thought he was going to the Chargers. You said the whole goddamn time he's gonna be a Raider. He's gonna be a Raider.
I was speaking it into existence, and obviously speaking anything into existence on this podcast is a joke.
Oh, come on, guy. I was 1 for 1. I should have pulled a Costanza and just got out while I was ahead, but I tried to run with it. Obviously, we saw how the results ended up after that, but yeah, I mean...
Pretty much every Seattle game of the whole entire season.
I fucking hate the Seahawks, goddammit. But yeah.
Well, I mean, the Seahawks aren't doing anything in this free agency, just like the Raiders aren't, so...
Oh, come on, man. They got the next best thing to Brady, right? They got Mr. Mariota.
Oh, yeah. The Maserati. The Raiders got their franchise quarterback this offseason, Marcus Mariota. I mean, we all thought the same thing with Tannehill, though. He left the Dolphins, I mean, due to injury, obviously. Mm-hmm. But nobody thought he was going to be good, and he had a good season. So maybe Mariota brings us to the playoffs. I'm not going to say the promised land because I don't think the guy has it in him, but...
So have the Raiders completely moved on from Derek Carr? Is that what they're saying with that signing? No? Because I'm hearing whispers that maybe Derek Carr could go to the Patriots. Obviously, we saw the news the Bears just signed Nick Foles. But, to me, I know he's had his ups and downs, but Marcus Mariota is a starter in the NFL. Right? I think the guy, he's got enough talent. He's proven to be a winner. He's been injury prone, but I just don't see how you have him and Carr on the same roster. It's two legitimate starting quarterbacks. But
well, it's kind of like they're stockpiling quarterbacks at this point. They're like, yeah, let's have Mariota and Carr and run with whoever's the best one that season. But I mean, I agree with you. Marcus Mariota is a starter, but I feel like the season that he had last year, maybe it's right for him to play backup, and hopefully he comes out when the Raiders need him the most, and he can prove himself again. But I don't know if Derek Carr goes to the Patriots.
I mean, if you talk about
I would
Tom Brady being a system quarterback, if you throw a guy like Derek Carr in there, who's done some okay things with the Raiders. And no offense, but full offense, the Raiders are trash. So if he goes somewhere with a little bit of talent and gets in that Belichick system, I feel like that could be a good fit. But going back to what you were saying, you believe Cam's going to the Chargers, which could be a decent fit. But where do we think the last year's leader in passing yards is going to end up, Mr. Famous Jameis?
Actually...
Because I feel like he could land
anywhere.
But another thing with that...
With the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, they got some weapons. We'll see what they do with Gordon. I know they just re-signed Austin Eckler.
Can I offer a crazy scenario right now?
Listen, I'll take anything you offer. Let's go.
So, hey, you're not the only one this week. Anyways, so obviously one of the biggest trades this week was DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. I know we're bouncing all over the place, but this will make sense in a few seconds. So DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals for David Johnson and a 4th-round pick absolutely makes no sense. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the quarterback of the Texans? Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Deshaun Watson is pissed off now. He lost his best receiver, probably the best receiver in the league, one of them at least, and now probably has Will Fuller, who plays average 3 games a season. Kiki Kuti, who plays 3 games a season.
Kenny
he has
Stills.
Nobody.
They did just sign Randall Cobb, but he's definitely past his prime.
It's not DeAndre Hopkins.
Not at all. Not at all.
If I'm Deshaun Watson, I walk into my office and my general manager and say, "Hey, who's the general manager of the Texans, by the way? Is it Bill O'Brien?"
Well, he's the head coach. I don't know who the GM is.
I have a feeling he's also the GM. I think he's one of those weirdos that likes to be the GM. Either way, he walks in the GM's office and he goes, I don't know. And he goes, I don't know, guys. I don't really want to play for this team anymore. I don't know where it's going. We can't get out of the playoffs, and you just traded my best weapon. I demand a trade. He demands a trade. Guess who's gonna be coming knocking on his door? Bill Belichick. He just lost his best quarterback ever. And Bill Belichick trades for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson lands in New England now.
Yeah, I see the vision there. I don't think it will quite come to fruition, but at the same time, like you said, we are bouncing around a little bit, a lot of stuff going on. But Patriots, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make any moves until after draft day, because while they might not make a move in free agency, I can see them making a move up the draft board a little bit. Maybe they get Tua. I know Belichick, Nick Saban, they've kind of been close friends for a while. Obviously, there's some speculation about Tua with the injury and all that. But do you think Tua could come in next year on the Patriots team and have an immediate impact?
It's tough for me because, with the Patriots, we don't know anything else besides Brady. We don't know how a quarterback like that would play. We had Jimmy Garoppolo for a little bit and Jacoby Brissett for a little bit. But those guys aren't Kyler Murray. Those guys aren't, or Kyler Murray or Tua, honestly.
Yeah.
Or even Deshaun Watson, if that were to ever happen. Or Cam Newton. Brady is a guy that doesn't escape the pocket that well, obviously. And it's kind of almost hard for me to envision someone like that playing in that offense.
Yeah, like you said, I'd go out on a limb and say, for as long as you and I have really understood and accepted NFL, we've seen Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform. He's been the shot caller, the leader for that team, and
probably our whole lives. Since we can last remember.
Like I said, since we could comprehend the NFL and really be a fan of them. I remember probably the first year I could recall stats, and the first year I went to a Packers game was 2007. We were in 7th grade. But yeah, with that being said, Tom Brady, we mentioned it earlier, down to Tampa. Do you see any association with TB Tom Brady, TB Tampa Bay? Was that just
I didn't even think about that until you just said that.
Was that just a total branding move? Like, think of all the merchandise they can do. TB, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, 12, whatever, I don't know. Plus, also, interesting fact, this year, the Super Bowl, obviously, if the season kicks off at its normal time and everything on the schedule-wise is what it should be. Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay. I'm sure you knew that already. No team has ever played a Super Bowl in their home stadium. So for a guy, Tom Brady, who's had all this history, right? 6 Super Bowl wins, pass downs. Jeez, what am I talking about? hitting 3-pointers. I sound like someone who doesn't even know.
You're sipping too much of the vino, my friend.
I couldn't find the wine opener, so I'm just going H2O right now. I'm pretty pissed off. But anyways, I had a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. I went out for a nice jog earlier. I'm trying to stay quarantined, but at the same time, I need some fresh air. I need some O2. But yeah, with that being said, a guy who has so much history around his name, around his legacy, a little bit more potential history could be the first quarterback to start in a Super Bowl at his own stadium. So
I mean, it's definitely interesting. It would be fitting that the team that doesn't have the most loyal fans would have a Super Bowl at their home field and probably still not have a home field advantage. But what I did hear, since I am in Tampa, obviously, I've said it numerous times, but there were 6,600 people lined up for season tickets already for this upcoming season after hearing that Tom Brady was expected to sign with them. So, I mean, obviously the buzz is big down here. A lot of people are already putting them as the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I mean,
it is possible. There's rumors also that they're gonna go after Todd Gurley too.
I mean, that would be banana. Todd Gurley. You don't think Melvin Gordon? Because obviously he shook up.
I would rather go after Todd Gurley. I think he would be a better running back behind Tom Brady than Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, he probably fits the old-fashioned style of play calling he's used to in New England, but now he's going to be with Bruce Arians. I don't know what's going to happen, and they probably won't be doing as many RPOs. Obviously, Brady...
Air raid offense, that's what they'll be doing. With the receiving core Tampa Bay has with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, it's going to be unreal. Tom Brady has so many options.
I was just going to say that.
Honestly, yeah, this is a perfect landing spot for him if there was anyone. And like I said, I didn't think the Chargers was a great fit. I mean, granted, they have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Hunter Henry. Well, Hunter Henry still plays for him. It was Austin Hooper that left.
Yep.
But I just think Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans practically led the NFL last year in receptions.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely argue he's got the best, weapons, receiving core, plus the 2 tight ends, that he's had in his whole career. You mentioned Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We'll see what happens with Perriman, who filled in. I think he's a free agent this year. He filled in a little bit when Evans was hurt. But yeah, Brady, like you said, everyone's lining up down in Tampa Bay. His schedule comes out in a couple weeks, I think. It'll be interesting to see the Brady effect, how many primetime games they get. Because, I don't know the numbers, but I can't imagine the Bucs have had too many primetime games other than, the allotted Thursday night game. Like, have they played Sunday night or Monday night? I don't even know.
Yeah,
but
the last time I think they played a primetime game, there was one last year, but I remember, I think it was on Thursday. There was a notable one against the Steelers 2 seasons ago on Monday night. But what we do get to see, Drew Brees re-sign with the Saints. Now we get to see Tom Brady versus Drew Brees twice a year. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater signs with the Panthers. We get to see him versus Tom Brady, him versus Drew Brees. Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady, Matt Ryan versus Drew Brees again. So NFC South is shaping up to be one of the tougher divisions quarterback-wise. I think a lot of those teams need to stack themselves up on defense, but this is a loaded draft. There's still guys out there in free agency. I would say NFC South is one of those divisions that you could potentially find your NFL or your NFC Super Bowl contender out of that division.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was just gonna say, you beat me to it, as they call you, Flash. You're nice and fast to the point. But yeah, that division's looking good right now. Breeze is coming back. Bridgewater, I mean, when he's healthy, he's obviously played well. But that, I don't know, the Saints, obviously, they've kind of owned that division the past few years. But with that being said, Brady coming in, we'll see if they can get some more pieces on defense. It's kind of wide open. I mean, I'd almost say Atlanta is maybe the team that is lacking the most, probably the weakest link in that division. Who'd they just lose? Devonta Freeman. They lost Hooper.
Austin Hooper.
They said Vic Beasley. I don't know if Vic Beasley landed anywhere, but there was that whole fiasco with the Falcons' Twitter's like, oh, Vic Beasley's going to be released, and someone was like, oh, who said this? And they were like, oh, literally us, the Falcons. We're tweeting out that he's not going to be playing for us next year. So
does that mean that the Falcons are the newest NFL dumpster fire team?
I don't know if I can label them as that just yet, but it is kind of...
Don't say the Raiders. Don't hurt my feelings.
No. I won't go there. I mean, they almost made the playoffs this year, and we'll see what happens with their new team this year. Everything going on, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's tough to see. Obviously, our good friend Cody, star of the 27,000 times viewed video on YouTube of this Falcons heartbreak, but yeah. Obviously, I've never been a Falcons fan, but as a fan of the sport, it is tough to see Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, who many people, you saw that clip, Larry Fitzgerald saying this guy's the best I've ever seen do it. It's tough to see their window closing because obviously they're two stars in this league still, but if you're the Falcons right now, Tyler, do you think you take a year or two to try to rebuild? Or is that just too far gone because you don't want to lose Matt Ryan and Julio? Lose their window that they have.
I could see that being a viable option, though. Because for a fact that Tom Brady and Drew Brees are going to be in your division for 2 years. Why not take those 2 years, rebuild, restructure, reclaim, and possibly, you'll get a bunch of first-round draft picks, I would say, for Julio Jones. You'll even get a bunch of first-round draft picks for Matt Ryan. Quarterbacks are essentially dominant with draft picks when it comes to trades. Devonta Freeman they could unload him. They have Matt Bryant. The Bears, trade him to the Bears. They'll give you 5 first-round draft picks. They haven't had a good kicker since Nam. So, I mean, there's possibilities to restructure. And listen, you have probably one of the best college quarterbacks coming out, not this year, but next year. And Trevor Lawrence, why not go after him? Mm-hmm. Build your whole team around that. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen, moving parts and whatnot. I feel like Arthur Blank, the owner, he's one of those guys that he's like Jerry Jones. He wants to win now. He doesn't want to focus on rebuilding. So that's a possibility. But speaking of birds, and also speaking of Larry Fitzgerald, the biggest trade, I mean, this thing is bothering me just thinking about it. DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals from the Texans, like I aforementioned, for David Johnson and a 4th-round pick. Give me your thoughts on that.
To me, this is just Bill O'Brien saying a big fuck you to DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if you saw the whole Michael Irvin, what was he on? First Take with Stephen A. He was saying that him and DeAndre, Bill and DeAndre had this meeting where he compared DeAndre to Aaron Hernandez, and then he's talking about his baby mamas being at practice or something. It's like, first and foremost, DeAndre Hopkins, to my knowledge, doesn't have a criminal record. Aaron Hernandez, I guess it has to be in context. Well, okay, never mind. Because obviously Hernandez
First and foremost,
was incarcerated.
DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have a Netflix series on it.
Right. So Aaron Hernandez was incarcerated before Bill O'Brien was with the Texans. I can, not 100% sure, 99.9%. But so to compare someone who has no criminal record to someone who is a convicted murderer, that's just blasphemous. I that's just a a literal spit in the face. And then if you're mad about his family being around the organization. I thought football wasn't an organization, right? You got the teammates, their family, everyone's families, they're one cohesive unit and community. So I don't know if Bill O'Brien needs some kind of reality check, personality check, but my opinion of what you asked in the first place on this trade was Texans got ripped off. Cardinals, they look pretty good right now. Kyler Murray, he was kind of balling out the last few games of the season. Now you add DeAndre Hopkins, Kenyon Drake. On top of that, obviously David Johnson, he was one of the top 3 backs the past couple of years. He dealt with some injuries this past season. But for him to not be half as productive as what Kenyon Drake did with that same, dumpster fire of an offensive line, I don't know. I feel like if Kyler Murray can take that next leap in the second year, I feel like they could be the favorites in that division.
Really?
Yeah.
Over the Seahawks, over the 49ers.
I feel like, okay, I feel like, don't hate me right now, everyone, all the viewers, America. I feel like the 49ers might have the Falcon effect, right? They go to the Super Bowl, they lose a close game.
Is it the Falcon effect or the Shanahan effect?
Listen, I didn't want to throw him under the bus right quick, but it might be the Shanahan effect. Obviously the Falcons, they get to the big game, and then what do they do next year? They're irrelevant. They're non-existent. I could see, now you say, no one's leaving off the 49ers. How's that going to happen? Well, I don't know. You saw Jared Goff, and I don't know if this is a fair comparison. He struggled in his first couple seasons. Maybe Garoppolo does the same thing. I mean, this is his real first full season. A lot of guys take that second-year leap like I expect Kyler Murray to do, but maybe he regresses a little bit. I think Emmanuel Sanders is a free agent. We'll see what happens with Marquise Goodwin. Obviously, they got Deebo Samuel, but I don't know. I feel like they might have the little Shanahan effect going on. I don't know if they make the playoffs next year. Let's put it that way.
Wow, that is. They did just lose DeForest Buckner, by the way. I mean, that's a big piece to their defense.
That was their whole thing last year, was their defensive line, how terrorizing they were, getting in on the quarterback, providing that pressure. Obviously Bosa's still a stud. I don't know if he can do it by himself. Right?
I mean, they have they have Quan Alexander still. I forget who the other guy is from that's on the other side of the line across from Bosa. They still have him. But, DeForest Buckner going to the Colts, now I feel like we're just bouncing around the league, but this is what happens. It's like a domino fight.
We're an atom right now. We're just all over the place. Just bouncing and
the Colts getting DeForest Buckner, though, as a defensive tackle, one of the best in the league probably. They signed him. They signed Phillip Rivers at quarterback. Now you look at this team as a whole.
Yeah.
They have the defense. They were one of the best defenses last year.
They didn't do too
and
bad.
Now they have a quarterback who is proven. He hasn't really done much, but is a good quarterback and has fit in the Colts system because he's played with the coaches from the Colts. What do you think about them?
Like you said, they weren't.
And mind you, they play in the AFC South, who the Jaguars just traded, who got rid of Nick Foles.
Yep.
The Texans got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and who else is in that division?
Titans.
Titans are good.
They'll be good, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it's interesting. It's so interesting, Tyler, to see, in my opinion, of how a few years can change the whole landscape of the NFL, right? Patriots, they're on the pedestal. They're annual favorites each year in and year out to go to the Super Bowl, potentially win it. It couldn't have been over 5 years ago where the AFC South put a team in the playoffs with a below 500 record. Now, you're looking at the Titans, you're looking at the Colts with Phillip Rivers. They might put 2 teams in the playoffs.
I mean, they did last year, Titans and Texans.
Right.
And those teams showed out.
I feel like they could repeat. I feel like this is the Titans division. they re-signed Tannehill. We'll see if he can stay healthy. I think he can be the guy. Maybe not long term.
See, I disagree. I think it's the Colts division now.
You do? Okay. I don't know. I feel like Vrabel, he's a hell of a coach. All of Belichick's guys, they kind of succeed for the most part in this league. And I feel like now he's got a full locker room around him. It'll be interesting to see, mentally how Derrick Henry comes in after seeing Tannehill get all this money and he gets put on the franchise tag. That's a little bit of a slap in the face, but I think he'll be all right. I don't know, but with that being said, is there a new standard that needs to be put in place for the best player getting the contract? Because I feel like a lot of teams, they just cop out like, oh, he's our best player right now, but we don't want to pay him market value, so we're just going to slap this franchise tag on him. Like Derrick Henry, he fucking carried them to their playoff victories. Tannehill, in those back-to-back games, he threw like 10 passes each.
I think he had 99 yards one game.
This guy's getting all the money?
But listen, it happened to Lev Bell like a few years back. They were like, we're not paying you. The running back is the black sheep of the NFL. That is why. The NFL owners, they feel as if because these guys carry the ball so much, they're more susceptible to getting injured. Therefore, they will not be as productive as a quarterback or a wide receiver throughout the season because they're constantly getting hit. But in reality, that's hardly ever the case. I mean, most of the time the running backs David Johnson's still relevant in the league, and he's been in the league for almost 10 years, I feel like. Yeah. AP is still relevant. He's been in the league for a while. You have these Derrick Henry, Lev Bell, Ezekiel Elliott. These guys are once-in-a-lifetime generational running backs. Like, these guys are going to be are running backs that are going to stay on your franchise for at least 10 years and provide you good stats over time. It's hard to find good running backs like that nowadays, but I feel like all these owners have the standard of, running backs are replaceable, we'll just get rid of them. Derrick Henry had more rushing yards than his quarterback did in 2 games that he had in one. It's just like, It makes no sense to me.
No, that's pretty crazy. Like you said, the running back position, it's a little more volatile, a little bit more injury prone. I mean, you look at the numbers. I feel like what everyone's looking at, like you said, the owners are kind of hesitant about paying them because like the average, career for a running back in the NFL is like 3-4 years. I feel like there's kind of some outliers there, a little bit of a math term, when am I ever going to use this math later in life? There you go. An outlier, kind of skewing the numbers there. But yeah, for me, I feel like you still got to pay the guy. Maybe it's just who I am as a person, but I feel like, you give what you get. And I feel like if you give a guy money, he's going to be a little bit more motivated to come back and provide. Like you mentioned before, same thing happened with Le'Veon Bell, and look what happened to him. He sat out a year. I'm not saying Derrick Henry's going to do that. At the same time, it's a big possibility for that. And the Titans, that team goes, in my opinion, from first to worst if they don't have Derrick Henry in the backfield.
I feel like you've been brainwashed a little given that your roommate's a Tennessee Titans fan, but
yeah, could be.
The Packers, the Raiders, especially, both our teams haven't done jack shit this whole entire offseason. I mean, my team, we signed Marcus Mariota, we signed Jason Witten. Today we announced that we signed Eli Apple. Not really much going on with my team. I think a lot of it's going to come out of the draft. How do you feel about the Packers?
I mean, it's same old story for me, honestly, man. They get it, they bring in Brian Gutekunst, the new GM. Obviously, I'm the owner.
Say that name 5 times fast.
Brian Gutekunst. No, but which I met personally. I looked him in his eyes.
Oh shit!
Sick flex. I didn't quite shake his hand because I was on the other side of the fence in the parking lot trying to get some autographs. But I made sure I pronounced it correctly. Anyways, it was the same way when they had Ted Thompson at the helm. They're not a big free agency team. They don't like paying, the coveted guy, the max contract. Obviously they gave Aaron the money, but he's been there since, draft day, obviously, and he's proven himself. They got a right tackle from the Lions. I think he made a Pro Bowl or two, maybe. I don't know. I feel like he's on his back nine. They got Kirksey, I believe is his name, from the Browns, who
That's a good pick.
I think he's been decent. But at the same time, they lost arguably their top two linebackers, definitely their number one, Blake Martinez, and Kyler Fackrell both went to the Giants. I mean, Martinez is a guy, he's a workhorse, high motor. He was top 3 in overall tackles the past 2 seasons in the NFL. And I mean, for the average NFL fan, they probably don't know who Blake Martinez is. Obviously, I do because I'm a Packers fan. You might because you hear me chirping about him all year. But for a guy to come in and be top 3 in tackles in the NFL, and I'm sure the majority of the Giants fans are like, who's this bum? And once they look him up, they're like, holy fuck, we got a steal. Whereas on the other end of it, Packers are like, yeah, we don't want to pay him this money. But, I mean, at what point? I know last year they went out, they got Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, who kind of seemed like they were worth the money. Obviously, a good dynamic duo. The sacks total was through the roof from what they've been years past. I just don't know. I feel like they need one more piece on that defense. And at the same time, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, who's definitely on his back nine, we'll see how long he goes. I don't know if he's going to be the same type of Brady effect where he's playing into his 40s. But they haven't done anything to help that offensive line. And
right.
You talk about they brought in the Smith Bros, who not really bros, but that's what they called themselves because same last name. And on the defensive side, the sacks were up. But on the offensive side, the sacks were up as well. I mean, Rodgers was on his ass more times than he was throwing touchdowns last year. And I feel like that, first and foremost, should be something you need to address as the GM, the president. So, I don't know. As a Packers fan, I think they'll be all right next year. But at what point, do you say we gotta make this move? Whether it's might pay off, it might not pay off. You gotta take a risk because Rodgers' window's closing, and a lot of these guys, the 2 running backs, the duo they had in the backfield, their rookie contracts are gonna be up, and if you're the Packers, you're not gonna want to pay them. So once that running game goes out the window, all the other guys. I mean, you just got Rodgers there fucking with his mustache taking photo bombs with Danica Patrick. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely going to be tough. I feel like there's a good amount of teams that are focusing towards the draft. Like you said earlier, the Patriots, I can see them focusing towards the draft. The Raiders, we have 2 first-round draft picks, focusing on building on young players like we did last year. The Packers are probably one of those teams too. I feel like it's all those older style teams that have been around for a while that are always the ones that are not the ones out going into free agency, spending all the cash like the Miami Dolphins at a strip club on 4th of July with cocaine in the air and strippers' booties bouncing all over the place. I had to mention strippers in this episode, Austin. You knew I had to do that.
It's like a snap streak. We got to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
We can't lose it.
But, I mean, there's just a ton of teams that are like that. I think the Packers are still in good shape, but they're playing in a tough division.
Yeah.
I mean, just like they were last year. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see who they go after this in the draft. Who do you think that they will?
I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, new GM comes in, and you think he's going to switch it up a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like last year they still had their previous formula in the draft of just drafting the best player available regardless of position. So, I mean, I think they pick at, 29? Obviously, it won't be, but if Joe Burrow was sitting there, they would draft him, which I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it does. Obviously, I'm not a GM. I am an owner, clearly.
They did it with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I know. But so I'm going to hit the rewind button real quick. Like you said, they are in a tough division. You mentioned earlier Foles going to the Chicago Bears. And like you said, they haven't had a good kicker in a while. Listen, Tyler, if I was the kicker and you were the holder, the Bears potentially win a Super Bowl. But that's neither here nor there. Nick Foles, I hit that 42-yarder in JV. Come on. I counted for
I was there. My
24 total points.
My hands were cold. I still held that ball firmly. I got small hands. These things ain't big, and I still held that ball firmly.
No.
And
well, they're soft, so it helped you.
I mean, honestly, it was middle. straight down the middle. Beautiful.
Oh, dead nuts. I had another 10, 15 yards on it. I could have gone for the JV,
All right.
unofficial JV state record. But no.
You were like, Doubt, let's push this back a little bit.
Hey. Fucking yell Brendan's name, have him pop up real quick, get it off, false start, push it back. But with that being said, Nick Foles, do you think, I know there's Cam Newton, his name was circulating a little bit around the Bears organization. Nick Foles comes in, obviously won the Eagles a Super Bowl. I don't know if he really lived up to the money last year, but do you think...
Definitely not. Well, he was injured.
Right. You come in on a team, they have Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, they got Trey Burton last year. Who am I thinking of? Anthony Miller. They got some decent guys. Tariq Cohen. And who did they just sign? Jordan Howard. Or no, he just left. He just went somewhere else. So I don't know. Do you think, I guess...
Jordan Howard played for the Eagles last year anyways.
Or no, who did they bring in? Now I'm having a we're all over the place.
It was the guy from Iowa State. Oh shit, I forget what his name is. He was trash anyways, and I know Tom is watching this and he's probably like, I love this guy.
Wait, Tom
Shevlin.
Oh, Shevlin. I was like, Tom Thompson's a Vikings fan.
No. He loves the running back for the Bears. David Montgomery.
David Montgomery, exactly. Yeah, I'm fucking Jordan. Yeah, I'm flip-flopping. Like you said, we're all over the place. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, but do you think, overall, what I was trying to get to, obviously the defense has been solid year in, year out. Do you think the Bears, Nick Foles comes in and helps them immediately?
I could see it, but the problem is that Matt Nagy needs to make that happen. And what I mean by that is they have the pieces. We knew this last year. Mitch Trubisky probably not as good as Nick Foles, obviously, but they have the pieces on offense. They definitely have the pieces on defense. It's just Matt Nagy as a coach. It's like the Texans with Bill O'Brien. Your coach needs to be an integral part in you winning. So if you don't have a coach that's making the right decisions, the right plays, calling the right everything, it's just not going to work out. And I feel like it's on Matt Nagy's shoulders now. You got the pieces, brother. It's time to put this car in drive and push the accelerator, because you're playing against an old Aaron Rodgers, like you said. Mm-hmm. You're playing against the Vikings, who's very inconsistent. Who else is in that division?
Lions.
The Lions. I mean, the Lions.
They're questionable. Yeah, we'll see what they do. Yeah.
I mean, I could see the Packers winning the division. It's just I could see the Bears winning the division. I think the one team that's standing in their way is probably the Packers. Honestly, I just think the Vikings are. I'll never trust Kirk Cousins. I was telling someone this the other day. Kirk Cousins, you could bet your house on winning you 10 games in the regular season, but then bet your house on him losing the next game in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I mean he definitely knows how to play well enough to get paid, but then when you put the lights and the camera, he doesn't come with the action. But
nice.
Thanks. They just paid him a lot of money. Stephon Diggs, he's out. He's in Buffalo.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We're all over the place.
I cancel everything I just said.
Listen, we're all over the place, but I feel like we're moving in a nice linear progression, right? We're kind of in a line. We're associating one topic with the other, and we're moving nice and smoothly. But yeah, Stephon Diggs is gone. They still got Thielen, Rudolph, who's like, I feel like he's good, but at the same time wasn't really used to his potential.
Got Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is solid. I don't know. I feel like that defense, there's a big question mark on that defense. Xavier Rhodes didn't even fucking start half the time last year. They got, what's his name?
And he's not there anymore.
He's gone. They got the guy from UCF, Mike Hughes, right, who was pretty touted when he came out of college in the draft. I haven't seen much from him. I think they've been playing in him a lot of nickel packages. But yeah, I think the Packers and the Bears sit atop of the division quite clearly right now. The Bears, like you said, if you're Matt Nagy, you're that organization, there's no time to wait. You got to put it in sixth gear right now. or fucking 8th gear, I guess, if you got a Maserati. But the Infiniti.
That's
I think
in Las Vegas now, baby.
I think we got 6 with the overdrive, the turbo. But yeah, obviously, I don't know how much longer.
Wait, but what gear do Mack trucks go up to?
Oh, they got
Is that
like
4th?
Fucking no, they got like 20 something gears, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, put in 20th gear, cause let the Mack truck rest.
What about a fucking spaceship? How many gears does that bitch have, man? You gotta
they have Khalil Mack
at
truck.
least 100. I like that. But no, I was gonna say I don't know how much longer he's got in his contract. If they don't make moves, at least win a playoff game or prove to him that they got some pieces to maybe be the team. I feel like he's gone, and then you're just back at square one. You're sitting there with fucking Nick Foles and I don't even know.
Big Dick Nick.
Big Dick
you got
Nick.
your big dick in your hand and you're doing nothing.
Listen, when we talk about...
A lot of girls on Tinder already know how that feels, Austin,
Listen, I know you've been doing your thing down there, but when you got Big Dick Nick, when you're talking about slinging, you're not just talking about footballs. Ha. But no.
Speaking of the trades, can we go to the Stephon Diggs one, because
gladly,
that one was bananas.
Run with it.
So
we both
Stephon
got the cutoffs
Diggs,
on.
I mean,
gyms are closed, but
Stephon
still gotta show off a little.
Sun's out, the guns are out. Unfortunately, I cannot be out. But Stephon Diggs to the Bills, that makes them an amazing contender to win the AFC East now that Brady's not at the Patriots, depending on who lands there, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you can never count the Patriots out, in this league for the past 20 years. Dolphins making a lot of moves, but we always know the Dolphins love to spend the money, but never works out because they're a dumpster fire from day one. And then who else? You got the Jets. Ugh. I mean, honestly, Stephon Diggs practically just won the Bills that division.
I mean, you had to think that's the missing piece, right? Last year in that playoff game, they were like a fourth down away from winning that game.
Who was their leading receiver last year, Austin? Who was it?
I'd go out on a limb and say it was John Brown, who had a decent season.
Cole Beasley.
Was it Cole?
Beasley.
Okay. Yeah.
That guy's the same height as me.
Well, listen, he might have a little bit better
got
flow
me running
going
slant
on.
routes out there. Oh, shit.
Definitely not a better beard, though. I'll give you that.
Oh.
So.
And a better jawline?
Oh,
or do I just get the...
I mean, that's I didn't even have to say it. That's already known.
Oh, okay.
The jawline is impeccable, but yeah, I feel like that trade just, like you said, can never count the Patriots out, but you'd have to say win them that division, because, as I just said, they were kind of a pass or two away from winning that game against the Texans. You bring in a guy like Stephon Diggs, who is dynamic. He is that number one receiver, clearly. Then you got Cole Beasley, John Brown, Dawson Knox, right? Who was he a rookie last year? Definitely still a younger guy, but kind of proved himself. So I'm interested to see. I've been a Josh Allen fan since the draft. I thought he was the best quarterback in that draft.
Big hands.
Draft JoshAllen.com. But when I look at guys, I look at things you can't teach. Josh Allen, he comes. Well, it's a variation of thing, right? You can't teach.
AC the chemist coming at you again.
I'm coming in. I'm cooking up with it. I got my formulas. I got my exponentials, variations, and
your pie graphs,
charts. I got the Venn diagram. Big hands is in the middle. I won't say what's on the other sides of those, but no.
Big gloves.
I'm trying to say, Tyler, he can throw the ball a country mile. You cannot teach that. I don't know how many clinics you go to, how many fucking band workouts you do, fucking shrugs. I'd say speed and big arms. You can't teach, right? You can teach route running. You can probably teach a receiver hands. Like, I'm sure Metcalf is going to be working a lot in this offseason, who all over the place. We're not gonna go on that tangent just yet. But yeah, I feel like Josh Allen, if he comes in, he works on reading the defense a little bit, which is something you can teach a player, right? He's already got the big arm.
Right.
He's got some pieces there. The defense was phenomenal.
He just made silly mistakes last year. I mean, that was pretty much it.
All he needs is maturity.
He's a great runner. He was one of their leading rushers. Honestly, if this kid can learn how to hit he didn't have receivers. That was his biggest issue. He had nobody to throw the ball to. So you give this guy Stephon Diggs, you give him another guy, like Cole Beasley, who's going to get you maybe 750 yards to 1,000.
Yep.
John Brown, 750 yards, 500, something like that. And then you get Stephon Diggs on his game. This guy could easily do exactly what Lamar Jackson did this year. Rush for over 1,000, pass for over 4. I mean, it's not like it's impossible for him. The guy has the intangibles. He just doesn't have the pieces.
See, he does have that dynamic of the run game. I don't know. For me, I'd almost like to see him try to transition his game into a pass first. At times he went through his progressions and maybe he took off a little earlier, instead of letting the back leak out and, dump off because, as a quarterback, you're kind of taking a lot of damage if you're going out there running. But no, I look at a guy like Josh Allen as like a poor man's Patrick Mahomes, right? He's got the big arm and, he can scramble as needed. Josh Allen, maybe a little bit more run-oriented type guy.
He's a lot taller too.
He's a lot taller. I mean, the hands magnificent, as we just stated. But if he can get a little bit more maturity,
big hands guys over here.
Yeah, listen. I don't think there's ever been anyone in the history of the world that's like, oh, I hate big hands. I'm matured.
I'm sure I have a few ex-girlfriends.
I matured a lot quickly, so my 7th, 8th grade girlfriends, they definitely appreciated bigger hands. I'm a guy. I don't have big hands, but like I got like average sized fingers, but like my palm is above average. So
see,
I can palm a basketball.
I have long fingers. But a really small hand. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like the TikTok.
If you put our hands together, would we be the same hand size as Shaq?
We'd have fucking Giannis hands if we put my palms with your fingers. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Now we're on to something. Fuck the NFL. You can detach fingers and re-sew them, Tyler.
Let me cut out my fingers and send them.
We're both right-handed, but I'm willing to sacrifice and give you. Wait, how would that work? No, because I don't think you could trade full palms, so you would have to sacrifice your fingers to me, and then I would have superhuman hands. Start calling me the claw around this bitch.
So and then you would also want to probably take my knees too, huh?
Oh well, shit. I'd take a fucking 80-year-old man's knees, man. My shit's been shot. I'm gonna be fucking on a walker trying to play 18 holes when I'm 42. But besides the fact, yeah. So I know we're all over the place. We made some funnies with the hands joke, which I'm gonna have to text you about that afterwards. I would pay you I'll give you all the money in my Roth IRA, which just took a big hit, but there's still a decent amount. If you give me your fingers, switch fingers with me, Tyler.
Is that the only thing we're switching?
Oh well, I wouldn't dare take that from you. That's your moneymaker right there.
That's a gold member right there.
But listen, I'm about to come up on my prime, 25 years old. If I can get some bigger hands, the PBA, Professional Bowling Association, maybe that's in my future. You never know.
Possibly. Boxing?
I mean, they're gonna have to get some fucking 20-inch gloves from me out here. Be looking like fucking Mr. Fantastic, stretching all over this bitch. But anyways, we're talking about the AFC East, right? The Bills, they're probably the favorites as of right now. Another tangent with the whole Patriots, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay. In what scenario can you say if Tom Brady, so I guess I'll say if Tom Brady leaves, obviously it's looking like that. I don't know if he signed the papers yet. But if the Patriots aren't successful this year, can you say, because like you said, everyone speculates, it's all Belichick, Brady's a system quarterback. If the Patriots aren't successful this year, can you then discredit Bill Belichick as being the guru, or do you give more props to Tom Brady? And vice versa, if Brady doesn't succeed in Tampa Bay, can you say, okay, maybe Brady was a system quarterback, or do you maybe give him the benefit of the doubt being a 42-year-old on a team that went below 500 last year? When can you say?
Here's what I think is going to happen. Honestly, I think they're both going to succeed because I think they are both great. It's like Phil Jackson with Michael Jordan. They both were. I mean, granted, Michael Jordan was only successful with Phil Jackson, but I feel like
we won't
if he
talk about
wasn't
the Knicks
with
and Phil.
yeah. But I mean, Phil Jackson with the Lakers, still great. And I feel like if Michael Jordan was in his prime with somebody else, he would still be great. I think that they'll still be great without each other because they are the definition of greatness when it comes to a head coach and a quarterback. So, yeah, I think I do agree with what you're saying. I do think it will discredit one or the other depending on who does worse. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Brady's in such a good situation right now if he signs with the Bucs, and Belichick is dedicated to the game. He's by far the best coach that's ever lived.
Yeah.
He will find a way.
I mean,
he'll kill off his grandchild. He'll kill off his grandchild to have a chance at the Lombardi Trophy. I mean, they're just it was one of those things that happened in sports that was micro or whatever the fuck you want to say, Big Bang Theory or whatever, that those two got put together and won as much as they did, and it just shows.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they'll both be successful. I mean, you got Bill Belichick, you said off in his grandchildren, Vrabel offering to off his member, if you will, but so I guess grandchild. Well, Vrabel said he was going to cut off his dick if the Titans won a Super Bowl.
I thought you.
I'm saying
Belichick. My bad.
No, I said Belichick. You got him offing his grandchild, Vrabel cutting off his member. So we'll see which the devil would rather have in his pocket. But the big question, right? I agree. Like I said, I agree with you. I believe they will both be successful. Who comes out on top? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New England Patriots. Who has the better season next year?
See,
it's
part
tough.
of me wants it because, like I said, I feel like the coaches in the NFL have a lot more say in what happens than people realize.
Yeah.
My heart wants to say the Patriots, but my brain is just telling me because I'm filled with hype right now, just seeing all of these things that are possibly going to happen with the Buccaneers and their offense and their defense. A lot of it's going to also depend on if they add Todd Gurley or another piece to the Bucs, but I'm gonna stick to what my heart says, and I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I just think Bill Belichick is such a good coach that he doesn't need Brady. He can find someone else to fill that void. I mean, look, he built Garoppolo, he built Brissett. I mean, he's built other quarterbacks besides Brady in the same time. So I just in the AFC East the Jets aren't that good. They really only have to worry about the Bills. So I'm going to have to say the Patriots on this one.
Safe bet. Maybe the weak bet, if some might say.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. For me, a guy like Tom Brady comes around once in a lifetime, maybe. Some people say he's the best quarterback of all time. Statistically, maybe not. Champion, clearly. I just feel like regardless of that, he's one of those guys. He's like Jeter. Jeter maybe didn't, go out on top with a World Series win, but his last game he hits a fucking, walk-off hit. I feel like Brady, for me, it fits the story a little bit more. If Brady goes down to Tampa Bay, maybe he doesn't win the Super Bowl, but he gets a couple good years. He proves the haters wrong. Because I feel like at this point, he almost left the Patriots. I don't know if the marriage between him and Belichick went awry, and that's something with within them, the organization pushed him out. But for me, Brady's a competitor, until he's 6 feet deep. I feel like now the only thing he's got left to prove is that he is the best quarterback of all time, and he can do it in a different organization, in a different place, town, fan base. And for me, that just kind of fits the criteria, right, of the happy ending, his whole story. His life is a movie, proven champion, everyone speculates it's not him doing, making all the right moves, bringing them to the Super Bowl. He goes down to Tampa Bay, maybe wins the Super Bowl, maybe not, but I feel like he goes out on top, still has something to prove. So I feel like Tampa Bay, also with that division not being too hot, Falcons struggling. We'll see how Teddy does for the Panthers. But I feel like he can definitely challenge Drew Brees. But either way, it's going to be exciting. He plays Brees twice next year. Plays Rodgers once. So definitely get some primetime games. See TB12
does
TB.
Does that mean that you are definitely coming to Tampa during that? I mean, I have a bed that you could sleep in, king size. Aha.
Well, I mean, you and I would fucking be able to sleep in a library couch, just cuddled up. We slept in fucking bunk beds in Key West, but
you act like we haven't slept in the bed together on Haas Road either.
No, I mean, shit, we've spooned, we've cuddled, we've taken turns. Who was big, who was little. Obviously, I got the bigger palms. He's got the bigger fingers. I'm gonna try to solicit him to get his fingers. Listen, name your price. But yeah, it'll be interesting. A lot of stuff. I mean, thank you, NFL. I'm gonna say thank you, NFL, for having an interesting off-season start to free agency, because there's no sports news right now, Tyler. I think the Australian Rugby League is still playing. That's probably the only thing that's as a still running league. So the NFL free agency, everything going on. Thank you very much. I know we just hit the 1 minute mark, or 1 hour mark. 1 minute. Wow, that was a long minute. 1 hour mark. I believe we got the dream team coming on.
That's my sex life right there. Wow, that was a long
Holy
minute.
fuck! That was an hour, right? Looks down 59, 60. Oh my goodness. All right, you came, right? Yeah. All right, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, but no, that was good. Definitely flew by. I believe we got the dream team coming on next. So I don't want to push our luck too much. We'll be interested to see what comes of the whole, obviously state of the nation with the NFL season. I think as of right now, they are still planning on, having the schedule move along as it usually does. We'll see what they do with the draft, if there's still something in place about large gatherings, but maybe we'll get into that next week. It's been another installation of the No Look podcast. Like I said, I think we got the dream team coming up next. Follow us on all social medias, right? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and shit. Until next time, your boy Yo Soy, the man goddamn.
You man goddamn. Love you.
Later.